Here's a question for you. What's scarier? A monster jumping out of a closet, or realizing you are the monster? Most horror games pick the first one. Jump scares, gore, things that go bump in the night. But in 2001, a small team of developers at Konami asked a different question. What if the scariest thing in the game was you? Silent Hill 2 starts simple enough. James Sunderland gets a letter from his dead wife. She says she's waiting for him in Silent Hill, their special place, 3 years after her funeral. James knows it's impossible. He goes anyway. Over the next 10 hours, he fights nurses with distorted bodies, creatures that crawl on 4 legs, and a towering executioner with a triangular metal head. None of it makes sense, until the end, when you learn the truth about what James did, and you realize every monster he's been fighting was made of him. This is the story of Silent Hill 2, the game that proved horror doesn't need jump scares, it just needs a mirror. To understand Silent Hill 2, you have to understand where horror games were in 2001. The genre was defined by Resident Evil, zombies, mansions, bad voice acting.
What is this? Stop it! Don't open that door! What is it?
It was horror as a theme park ride. Silent Hill was different. The first game came out in 1999. It had a fog so thick you could barely see 10 feet ahead. That fog wasn't artistic, it was a limitation. The PlayStation couldn't render far distances, so the devs hid it, and accidentally created one of the best atmospheres in gaming. Mary Shepard Sunderland, James's wife, was diagnosed with an incurable degenerative disease. Over years, her body failed her. Her beauty faded. She said terrible things to James. She also begged him to stay. James couldn't take it anymore, so he killed her, smothered her with a pillow, and then his mind broke. It's not just a story about survival. It's about repression, guilt, and the desperate need for punishment. Let's talk about the monsters. Masahiro Ito didn't just design scary things. He designed manifestations of James's psyche. The most famous is Pyramid Head, the Red Pyramid, a towering figure in a butcher's apron dragging a massive blade. He appears whenever James is confronted with his desire for punishment. He is the executioner, and James is the condemned. Pyramid Head doesn't just chase you, he assaults other monsters in scenes that are unmistakably sexual violence. This isn't just random edginess, it's James's distorted memory of the sexual frustration he felt during Mary's illness. The game is showing you his shame. The nurses are similar. Clothed in revealing outfits, their faces twisted and hidden. They stumble toward you, moaning. They are James's repressed desire for Mary, twisted into something grotesque. The lying figures, those creatures that crawl on 4 legs and spray acid, they're wrapped in what looks like skin. They represent Mary's illness constricting her body. The way James saw her as something suffocating. The mannequins, 2 pairs of legs fused together, they represent James's feeling of being trapped. Mary's disease was a cage. He couldn't leave, he couldn't stay, so he broke the cage. And then there's Maria. She looks like Mary, sounds like Mary, but she's not Mary. She's wearing leopard print. She's confident, sexual, and constantly puts herself in danger, so James has to save her. Maria is James's fantasy of what his wife should have been, healthy, fun, and available. The game forces you to protect Maria, and then, inevitably, Pyramid Head kills her, right in front of you, over and over, because James's fantasy cannot survive. Reality always breaks through. Silent Hill 2 has multiple endings, and which one you get depends entirely on how you played. Check on Mary's letter and photo constantly. You get the leave ending, where James leaves Silent Hill with a revived Mary, having finally accepted what he did. Spend too much time protecting Maria, listening to her, and keeping her alive. You get the Maria ending. James leaves with her replacement, doomed to repeat the cycle forever. But the most famous ending is the in-water ending. To get it, you have to examine Mary's photo and letter, but you also have to spend the game injured, low health, stumbling. The ending implies James drives his car into the lake, killing himself. He couldn't live with what he did, and the game lets that be a valid conclusion. The point is this: Silent Hill 2 doesn't judge you for your ending, it simply observes. You played the game a certain way. That reveals something about you, and the game hands you the logical conclusion of your own psychology. Silent Hill 2 released in 2001. It sold over 1 million copies. Critics adored it, but it wasn't an immediate blockbuster. It grew. People talked. Essays were written. 20 years later, it's widely considered the greatest story ever told in a video game. In 2014, Konami announced Silent Hills, a collaboration with Hideo Kojima and Guillermo del Toro. A playable teaser called PT became one of the most terrifying experiences ever made. The internet lost its mind. Then Konami canceled it, removed PT from the PlayStation Store, and the franchise died. Then in 2024, a remake of Silent Hill 2 was released by Bloober Team, a Polish studio known for walking simulators. The reception was complicated. The remake is faithful. Some say too faithful. Others argue it misses the original's soul. But it brought Silent Hill 2 back into the conversation. A new generation got to experience James Sunderland's nightmare. So why does it still matter? Because it proved that video games could do what movies and books do. Tell stories about the human condition, about guilt, about the lies we tell ourselves just to get through the day. James is not a hero. He's not even an anti-hero. He's just a man who did something terrible and couldn't face it. And the game forces you to walk through his hell with him, not because you're escaping, because you're witnessing. Most horror games ask you to survive. Silent Hill 2 asks you to understand, and that's far, far scarier.